Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we're gonna let it rain. Tonight, we're gonna let it rain. Tonight, we're gonna let it rain. Just like the sunrise, we're gonna let it rain. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we're gonna let it rain. Tonight, we're gonna let it rain. Tonight, we're gonna let it rain. Just like the sunrise, we're gonna let it rain.
Ember.
Oh, Ember.
Miss Ember.
Oh, great, Ember. Tell me what I'm doing.
Appreciate you, Ember.
Love Ember. She's great.
Bottom of the barrel Ember bullshit.
Oh my God, Ember.
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 We love you, Ember.
You rock at that, Ember.
Ember is the queen.
We're neighbors, Ember.
I see you, Ember.
Hey, Ember is hot.
Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Happy February. Did you know that February was named for the Roman practice of taking thin strips of flesh and beating each other with them?
Oh, dear God.
It's a random Valentine's Day fact that came to mind. They were very kinky back in the day. Now, in hindsight, today's topic is all about boobies. And this would have been better put to Women's History Month, but we're not looking backward. We're looking forward because that's where the boobies are. So we're going to go right ahead.
Who doesn't love
Thank you
boobies?
all so much for joining us.
Everybody loves
It's
boobies.
been a weird morning, as I'm sure you're already aware. Despite the early hour, this is my second show of the day. Lil also, we were just over on Java and Jugs doing our madness over there and triggering all the conservatives. It was amazing. Today, boobies, yes, but a couple of notes first. Couple of things. First of all, if you're new here, please take a second to hit the subscribe button. We're trying really hard to grow the channel because we have a goal this year. I want to get to 10K. It's a long way to go, but it's very doable if people subscribe and use the share button. And the reason I want to do it isn't just to have a bigger channel, though that would be lovely. It's because that's the level that YouTube hides the fundraiser button. And I want to do real fundraisers. We're doing some good with the fundraisers through the merch store. We've got 2 of them going. And it's, no shade on that. But I want to do real fundraisers, like through the stream itself. And to do that, the channel needs 10,000 subscribers. So please help. On that note, we're making some good progress. We're making really good progress. In fact, I want to thank everybody who's joined us, today, but also recently. Last week was the best week, analytically speaking, in over a year. Like I keep records because I'm obsessed with analytics and shit, because I want to know what's working, what I can do that will work, that will help, that will reach people and so forth. And so I have, it's back of an envelope. I recycle everything, but this is last year's numbers. This is the year before's numbers. Last week was the best in a very, very long time. In fact, looking back, we have to have to beat last week's numbers. We have to go back to December 31st, 2023. So thank you for being here, for helping, for participating, for doing all the wonderful things you do. I very, very much appreciate it. So yeah, I just wanted to make a big deal over that, because best in a year. Holy shit. But also, clearly, some of you folks are sharing because it's bringing in new people, and I very much appreciate that as well. It really, really does help, and I want you to know that it helps, because this past week was the best week in apparently 2 years. My goodness. So yay. All right, boobies.
Boobies. Who doesn't love boobies?
Lil, have you heard of boobies? Are you familiar with these?
I love the boobies. Love the boobies.
They do definitely have, so they have their pluses and minuses. I mean, I can't say that I'm mad that they're here, but they do require a bit of special attention, don't they? I mean, for one thing, oh goodness. So, okay, let's try to do this in a somewhat organized fashion. So I do have some notes. Mammary glands. That's what breasts are. That is what makes a mammal. That's the defining characteristic of mammaldom that sets us apart from the reptiles and the other, non-mammals. I'm sure there's more. They're not coming to me right now. I haven't had enough coffee yet.
We have hair.
We do have hair, although we're not the only creatures with hair. But all mammals do have hair. That is a thing. But the category is named mammal for mammary gland, which interestingly comes from the Latin word mama, which in Latin means breast. That's a fun little tidbit I discovered trying to put together stuff for this show too. Like, oh, mama doesn't mean mother, it means breast. Holy shit. That's amazing. Humans have a few unique characteristics among the animals, not just our technology, not just our sophisticated language, not just our writing system, not just our chins. Breasts. We're among the only, if not the only mammals, primates even, who have permanent structures. That's sort of interesting. Most of our milk-making kin only express this trait during active lactation. Permanent breasts are a weird thing that set humans apart. So that's fun. So today I want to talk about breasts specifically, not just mammary glands. I want to talk about humans, because it's mostly humans who watch this show. Occasionally a few dogs, but the dogs, I don't think they care that much unless we, go outside.
No.
So I want to talk about development over the course of the life changes, how they impact breasts, their anatomy, their function, breastfeeding, Health. How do you care for breasts? Not just mammograms, but self-exams and other things to pay attention to over the course of your life. In case of, necessary implants, because sometimes you have to have them removed. Sometimes that's a medical requirement, but people often feel a great deal of dysphoria when they've had their breasts removed. Sometimes they don't like how other people interact with them. Sometimes they don't like how their own body looks. So we have prosthetics. We have forms. We have bras with built-in shapes. We have implants. And the implants aren't only for mastectomies. There's also implants for people who just want a little more for whatever reason. And then we have supportive garments. How do we take care of these things on the day-to-day? Not every woman even needs a bra, but once you reach a certain size, it sure helps. So we're going to talk about some of those. There's a lot. So I suppose let's get into it. I want to begin with well, another random fun fact I came across. So I wanted to start with information about permanent mammary glands, like, where they come from, the development, and different things like that. And the very first thing I come across is mammary redirects here for the mountain in Alaska see mammary peak. What? The 358th tallest mountain in Alaska is named Mammary Peak. So of course I had to look it up. There is in fact a Mammary Peak. Now it's only a peak on the slope of a much larger mountain, as you can see from the topographical lines on this map, the altitude line. It's just a peak partway up. And apparently there are no photos of the fucking thing. It's in Juneau city limits, and no one has taken a photo of Mammary Peak. That's just rude. That's just disrespectful. So, we can't get a peek at Mammary Peak, alas. It was worth a try, though. But if anybody does happen to be in the Alaska region and wants to grab us a photo, I will happily feature it. Because as you know, I fucking love geology. But I digress. All right, so I wanted to let's do one thing at a time here. I don't want to do the anatomy and the structure. Let's start with development. Now, I want to double check. Right, I do have a video about development. Again, I had to put this together very, very quickly. So we're doing our best here. So let's learn about development. After all, to have breasts, you have to first grow them. So let's learn, shall we? We will learn together live, as the title implies. And my unfinished sock is here to remind us, don't get Journey fired on his first day on the job. Like and share the stream instead. I'm not sure how we would get Journey fired, but maybe it's all the boob talk. I don't know. All right, let's find out what's going on here.
The basics. What are breasts? Breasts, also known as mammary glands, are made up of 3 types of tissue. Fatty.
Now, as we discussed earlier on, breasts are mammary glands, but not all mammary glands are breasts. This is one way that humans actually are special.
Fibrous and glandular tissue. Fatty tissue gives breasts their size and shape. Fibrous tissue provides support and structure. And glandular tissue produces and carries milk. Our breasts change throughout our lives, starting with puberty. In girls, breast development is often the earliest sign of puberty and begins between the ages of 8 and 13.
That's true. Like, a lot of people make a big noise about periods and whatnot, and sometimes those do show up first. But typically breast development, it isn't noticeable, but there's things that the person themselves will notice. I'll let the video explain. But in the meantime, Will of all Trades dropping a very appropriate super chat. for $5. Thank you, Lil. And says, "All hail the boobies." I wish I had a plush of the bird booby, with the
Oh, that would be
it would be great. Alas, I'll have to make do with my actual boobies.
both are fantastic.
I love that Jess suggested this, because now I have to periodically grab myself for demonstration purposes on a live stream. This is amazing.
It all starts with the growth of a small bump under the nipple called a breast bud. And as the breast bud grows, the darker area of skin around the nipple, known as the areola, also develops. Once our ovaries produce and release estrogen, fat in the breast tissue starts to collect, causing breasts to get bigger and rounder over time, and milk-producing glands to grow. Breasts are usually full.
Now, it's worth noting that you don't necessarily need ovaries to get your hands on estrogen, but also having estrogen doesn't guarantee you're going to develop boobies or in any particular way. Like, it's a combination of hormones and genetics. The hormones are the chemical signal. Wherever you get the hormones, they're the chemical signal to cause the cells to develop along a certain pathway. But they're still going to develop based on a number of other factors, which have nothing to do with the chemical signal itself. There's a thing that they like to say in the egg community, I guess, the trans people who haven't started to transition yet, that everyone has a genetic schemata for their breasts, right? Like, there's a DNA blueprint that you inherited for what your breasts will look like, how big they'll be, the shape, all the various things. But you don't get to know what that is until you let them start growing. So maybe you should, for science. And honestly, I trust me, I do understand dysphoria very, very, very well. But that notwithstanding, I don't know why so many men are so opposed to having breasts. They say they love breasts, but when it's on their body, they get, oh no. Like, if you like men and you like breasts, then men with breasts, like, I understand that people would be very gender confused because they like to put people in boxes and pigeonholes and things. But on the whole, I don't see a downside. I don't know.
Fully developed by age 17 or 18. But for some women, breasts continue to grow for just a few more years. Breasts also change with
another minor point, but it is worth noting. Your breasts continue to change throughout your entire life. They may not grow so much, at least in the puberty kind of way, but there are certain life events that will definitely cause them to grow. Holy shit.
I went up when I was pregnant with my first son. I went up, I think, 2 cup sizes, and with my second son went up 3. It was not fun because my back already hurt, and now my back's hurting even more.
Because, like, fatty tissue, it has a certain mass to it, but when you get milk in there,
oh my god,
milk is surprisingly heavy. You get very off-center very quick. So many people are like, why do women's spines curve like that?
Yeah,
that's why. Yes.
And, like, my ex-husband was like he'd walk up and like try to grab me or something, being cute, and be like, holy crap, no. He's like, what the crap is wrong with you? I'm like, dude, my boobs are so sore. Like, it's not even, no, because it was right after I'd had my kid, and because of some medication stuff I was taking, I didn't want to breastfeed him because I didn't want him getting those medications. And so anyway, like, I had to we started formula feeding them, and then, like, I had to make my milk not come in that way. So it was just like, oh my gosh, it's so painful.
How do you make your milk not come in?
You basically wrap your chest for like 2 or 3 days, because if it's not getting expelled, then it just goes away on. So it takes about a week, and it hurts like mad. But
oof.
Yeah, it's basically like if Yeah, if the milk is not coming out and it's not getting to the baby, then eventually your body's just like, oh, okay, I guess not, and just stops making it. But yeah, it's not fun.
Some boobs may be quicker on the uptake than others, I suppose.
With menstruation, the same hormones that trigger your period, estrogen and progesterone, rise and fall with your cycle, causing your breasts to change in size, shape, and feel throughout the month. Early in
Exhibit A, breasts do not stop changing over the course of your life. As long as you're having a cycle, they will change over the course of your cycle. And then after you stop having a cycle, they'll change again.
In the cycle, our ovaries start producing estrogen, which stimulates the growth of milk ducts. Then progesterone takes over, enlarging the milk glands. This may cause breast swelling, pain, and soreness. The week before our period, our breasts are at their fullest. They may feel lumpy, heavy, and tender. Fortunately, these feelings usually go away when our period begins. And then, at the end of our period, hormones...
Fortunately, these feelings go away when our period begins.
There's no such thing as PMS.
I mean, it's great that like you get some good news when your period begins, but I wouldn't say fortunately. Like, who would design this system? This is a terrible design.
Hormones are at their lowest level, so our breasts tend to be smaller in size. Breast changes are also one of the first signs of pregnancy. 1 to 2 weeks after conception, breasts rapidly swell. At the end,
another note, your experience may vary. They really should note that they're speaking like very, not just typically, but like middle of the bell curve typically. Like so much so that the majority of people aren't actually described by this. It's the minority that's in the very middle of the bell curve. So it's something to keep in mind, because people see stuff like this and they're like, am I not normal? Is there something wrong? You know, probably not. It's just not everybody reacts exactly the same way.
of week 4, breast development takes off. And by week 5 or 6, women may need a larger bra due to their growing breasts.
That's quite possibly true. It is fucking wild. Like, the majority of your actual like milk development happens towards the end of the 3rd trimester region type thing, but the size change happens so fast. And
it
you're
really
like,
does.
Why are all my bras too small? Why does nothing fit? What the fuck? Did I gain weight? And then you measure around your ribs and you're like, no, my ribs are the same size. What the fuck? It can be very confusing.
At the same time, the amount of blood flowing to the breast doubles, which is why many women see veins through their skin. Our nipples and areolas become larger and darker in the 2nd trimester.
That's not why that is. I'm not sure why they threw that in there. That's why many women see veins through their skin. Many women see veins through their skin because they're very pale. And women's skin is kind of thin. TBH. Never mind. It's not important. You may see blood vessels through your skin that weren't visible before, when your breasts suddenly start getting big really fast. But yeah.
And in the 3rd trimester, breasts become heavier and denser, and nipples become more pronounced and may change shape. After birth, breasts are often sore and feel very full, which is called engorgement. Women who breastfeed will notice their breasts are bigger, and this will continue until breastfeeding ends.
Now, it's also worth noticing that not everyone will there's milk in there, but it won't come out immediately when it's your body's first time, almost like the system isn't intelligently designed, especially if you have an early birth for whatever reason. Like, whether it's because of a medical procedure and an artificially, whether it's induced pregnancy or a C-section or whatever the case may be, if the baby comes early, the boobs aren't expecting it, you know? So you have to let the baby try to suck a few times to get the breasts actually working. And sometimes it's tricky, sometimes it's problematic. But you still have to feed your baby. They can't wait 3 days or more for a meal, you know? So it's a thing to keep in mind. It's not necessarily there's anything wrong with you or with your system or whatever. It's that the timing doesn't always line up, especially when there's intervention.
By our late 40s and early 50s, our breasts go through a process called involution. The glands that produce milk shut down, and the connective tissue becomes dehydrated and loses fullness and firmness.
Now, this is like other kinds of atrophy. When it stops receiving the chemical feedback signal that tells it to stay active, it will stop being active. It's just like other kinds of atrophy. But like other kinds of atrophy, if you start restoring the chemical signal, it will start to reverse. Like we've seen experiments with late pregnancy where we've used hormones to effectively reverse menopause. You can do that. You can do the same thing with breasts. You can reverse the effects of menopause on breasts and get them to produce milk again. As long as you're still alive, you need external hormones, but you can do it.
Our breasts also become less dense, meaning there is more fatty tissue than glandular tissue, which leads to sagging. Breasts may get smaller or bigger.
Sagging. Oh no. Where's all my saggy bitches? Are we are we still connected? Now, I obviously can't actually show you mine, but they're not. Never mind.
If we gain weight after menopause,
it's a reference to a certain group of haters who've been running around trying to aggressively bully people who won't join their religious cult, but that never mind.
And as the years go by, we may notice a wider space between our breasts or downward pointing nipples. Every woman's breast.
As you continue to age, they continue to develop and change. Yes, they change throughout the course of your entire life. They never stop changing.
Are unique. They may be big or small or in between, round or bell-shaped or another shape. No matter what they look like or feel like, knowing your breasts and understanding normal changes through different life stages can help you keep them healthy and at their best.
Okay, and so that's that for that intro video. So on the official information about development, mammary glands develop during different growth cycles. They exist in both sexes during the embryonic stage, forming only rudimentary ducts at birth. Now, this is an important thing because a lot of people are like, oh, well, you know, fetuses have the potential for all kinds of duct systems, but one develops and the other is reabsorbed. If it's there, it can be developed later with the right hormonal signals. You don't ever quite stop. Now, there's some things that will not change later in life. Like once your gonads have developed into either ovaries or testes, they tend to stay that way, at least so far as we've been able to determine. But other things, like latent ducts, can develop into working ducts, because they're still there. I don't know why I tried to just unpause a freaking encyclopedia page, but okay. Can you tell I've been running videos for like 2 shows so far today? My goodness. All right, let's take a second to hydrate. We'll take a quick break because, you know, all this milk stuff, there's a bunch of different ways that my brain wants to approach this. And one is a reminder that if you are breastfeeding, you're expending liquids from your body, and it's important to stay hydrated. Hey folks, I've been working hard on my health, and so far I've lost over 140 pounds. A huge part of good health is hydration. That's why I'm thrilled to partner with Epic Water Filters. Check this out. Not only can you say goodbye to expensive bottled water, but these filters are made in the US, so no tariffs, and they're made to fit your life. from these lovely pitchers I can fill from to sink units to portable filters that fit in your reusable bottle. With Epic, I can refill from nature's water sources and not have to worry about bacteria and whatnot. But also, send back a used filter to be responsibly recycled, and they'll send you a free replacement, saving you and the earth even more. Want to save a ton of money, be healthier, and build a better world? Head to epicwaterfilters.com and enter code EMBER15 at checkout for 15% off. Don't settle for random water. Upgrade to Epic. And, you know, I have to say, they're fantastic water filters. I use them myself. I'm using one right now in my water bottle that I got from Epic. It's a metal water bottle, so it's harder to break and things. But don't put breast milk through a filter, because you want the extra goodies. You want the nutrients and the fatty bits full of energy and the antibodies and all those things. So you don't use a filter. Don't filter your milk. No. Human milk, that we do want raw. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. I don't know. It's there's my poor brain. I'm overclocking my processor today, folks. We're doing our best. All right, what else have we got going? I think pretty well covered development, and a little bit about breastfeeding. So let's see what else we have. Let's get into. Oh, there was a thing I wanted to do. I'm having squirrel brain ADHD moment sort of thing.
Trust me, I totally understand. I'm having one of those days too.
Yeah. Well, as I mentioned in the beginning, I normally am fairly organized. I'm like over prepared. I have way too much material to actually present, and I want to get to like a certain point. And I do have a point I want to make today, but like I probably have too much material, but I don't have it like in the order I want it, because I've been on the air so much and medical things have been happening, and I like
blame it on the boobies.
We're learning together live. It's fine.
Nobody can be mad at the boobies, so just blame it on the boobies.
I'm honestly, my boobies are like the one part I can't blame it on. It's the rest of my anatomy that's in open rebellion. Oh goodness. And it's not even my anatomy's fault. It's you know, there's I'm not going to go into that. Not at the moment. All right. I think development is pretty well covered. Part of me wants to get into like the evolutionary development, but maybe not. Perhaps for another day. So let's talk a little bit about structure, since that also has also breast. So yay. The basic component of a mature mammary gland are the alveoli. You may be familiar with that term from lungs. That's when you have a pocket with cells around it, and it's the cells around it that do the thing, and the pocket is the space for stuff to happen. It works in the other direction too, with glands that secrete stuff to put out into the world. So yeah, that's why it's shoot, I forget it's a type of gland like it. Well, they're modified sweat glands, as you may be familiar. You may have heard this in high school. They're modified sweat glands. They're made for excreting things and secreting things. They take bits from inside the body. In the case of sweat, it's salts and water to cool you down, and a few other bits and pieces that the glands want to get out of the body. Related to kidney cells, in fact, but that's neither here nor there. In this case, instead of trying to sweat to control for heat, we're excreting specific proteins and things, along with other chemical nutrients, vitamins, antibodies, all sorts of stuff. And it's fascinating how evolution could develop something so complicated without direct feedback. But we're experimenting blindly, because selection doesn't work directly on traits. It just improves things or doesn't across whole populations. That's why it's only effective at a population level. That's why the definition of evolution only applies at the population level. But I digress. It's a whole lot of things going on at once, and it's pretty wild. So the alveoli, the hollow cavities, they're only a few millimeters across, which is still kind of big, TBH. You can see a few millimeters with your eyes. But they're lined with milk-secreting cuboidal cells, which, you know, shapes. They're cube-shaped. That's what they do, yes. And they're surrounded by myoepithelial cells, which are cells found in glandular epithelium. And the epithelium is like the mid layer. It's like the last layer of cells, a little bit further down under the epidermis and the dermis and all that sorts of shit. Each lobule has a lactiferous duct. It's just the tube between the actual secreting cells and where things need to go. It's very similar to, shoot, what the hell is the name of the system? You have a duct system for between lymph nodes and stuff all through your body to move around non-circulatory fluids, right? They may be called lymph ducts if I'm not completely
I think
off
they are.
that word. But yeah, they move the liquid around. That's just what they do. They're just tubes for moving liquid around that doesn't necessarily yes, Swede bro, the endocrine system. That's what I'm looking for. Because like we do move some chemical signals in the endocrine response system through the bloodstream, but not all of them. Antibodies, for example, the trigger to alert the immune system to respond to a specific pathogen moves through the ductwork, because it doesn't necessarily want to go to the heart and then get circulated around at random. It needs to get a signal to the nearest lymph gland. But details. So yeah, the fun thing about the nipples, the ducts, they drain into the nipples. They have multiple openings around the areola. A lot of people don't seem to realize that. They think the nipple just squirts straight out like it's a hose or so. No. That's not how that works. I can only imagine Hollywood movies written by men are why people think that, but no. I do have a photo of what aggressive lactation looks like, but I'm pretty sure I can't show it on YouTube. So we're not going to go there today. But maybe I'll put it like in some kind of I don't know. I wonder if I could get away. No, I'd probably get my Instagram deleted too. I don't know. If I can figure out a way to show it, I'll it's not important. Anyway, the myeloepithelial cells contract under the stimulation of oxytocin, which is what helps cause the milk to secrete. It literally squeezes the cells. It squeezes the milk out of them. And it also causes the ducts to open, which is what causes, they call it a letdown reflex. I'm not quite sure why they call it that, but you do get a bit of, not always, you know, it's different for every person and every time it's slightly different, but you do get a feeling of like something coming forward. And I don't, you know what? A weirdly good analogy. If you've ever urinated and you've felt the pressure in your bladder reduce, it's sort of like that. It's not a perfect analogy, but it's sort of like that. Like you can feel a flow. So yeah, mother's milk is not sucked, it's secreted. It does flow. The sucking is what triggers this letdown reflex, which is a weird name for this reflex, but that's what they call the reflex. So the sucking causes the reflex, but it's the reflex. So like if you did the sucking, you let an infant latch on and let them suck, and then remove the infant before the milk actually came out, the milk would still come out because it's not being sucked. It's a reflex, you know? It's weird, but that's how we're set up. As the milk secreting tissue leading to the single lactiferous duct is collectively called a simple mammary gland. In a complex mammary gland, like humans have, all the simple mammary glands serve one nipple. So what we have going on is there's a bunch of glands with a bunch of ducts. Some glands do share ducts, but you still have multiple ducts going to a single nipple. Usually. You do get atypical development from time to time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Humans normally have 2 complex mammary glands, one in each breast, and each complex gland consists of 10 to 20 simple glands. The opening of each simple gland on the surface of the nipple is called a pore. And that's what I mean about how when the milk comes out, it doesn't just shoot in a straight line out of the top of the nipple. The nipple is more like a nozzle, and there's pores underneath it in a ring. And you might get, 4 or 8 active at any given time. It's fascinating, biologically speaking. The presence of more than 2 nipples is known as polythelia. Making sure I'm pronouncing that right, but yeah, here's a sample of a chest that we can show on YouTube of a person with an extra potential mini nipple, a supernumerary nipple forming. Now, this is fascinating. There's a thing called the milk line in mammals that runs from the shoulders down towards the groin region. And if you had extra nipples like a dog does, when you rub a dog's belly, you see all the extra nipples, they would be along that line because there is actually underlying infrastructure from our evolutionary history there. So when you have an extra nipple, it always appears along that line. It's something of an aptivism, which
That's
it's
super
just
interesting.
wild.
I never realized that, but yeah, it makes total sense.
Yeah, that's one of the diagnostic functions, because there are things, there are moles, there are growths, there are a bunch of things that might look like nipples. But if they're not on the milk line, they're not actual nipples. I mean, this obviously is not a functional nipple, but it's on a man's chest, so it doesn't really matter anyway. It's not a functional nipple, but still. It's fascinating. Heidi the sausage says, I had 2 extra. And yeah, theoretically, I mean, if you have more than just the nipple, if you have like the extra glands underneath, even if it's not like a full breast, all you need is 1 working gland and a nipple, and they can lactate. Yes. You don't even necessarily have to be pregnant, but that's another story. So yeah, maintaining the ducts requires another essential component, the mammary epithelial cells called extracellular matrix, as opposed to the intercellular matrix, which together with the adipocytes, the fatty tissue, the fibroblasts or the fibrous tissue that give things form and structure and whatnot, we don't give enough love to our fibroblasts because there's a lot of parts of our body. We have bones underneath, but there's things that have shape that don't have bones or cartilage to support them. For example, the rim of your belly button, right? What keeps it in shape like that? Your earlobes. It's not just gravity drawing them down. What's keeping them in shape? It's fibroblasts. They're the shape-giving tissues. It's pretty neat. The inflammatory cells, your response cells, your nerve cells, your pain sensors, there's all sorts of things. But the mammary parts require all these different things. Let's see, basement membrane, connective tissue, help support the basic mammary structure, but also communicate the bridge between the mammary epithelia and their local and global environment through the organ's development. And what it means by that is like the development of the tissue also requires a kind of anatomical level awareness, for lack of a better term, of what's going on with the rest of the body. For example, receiving hormonal signals to say, develop or start making milk, these sorts of things. But also global, what's happening outside. it needs to be able to respond to the suction to stimulate that letdown reflex. Otherwise, it doesn't actually do anything. So it's a bit of there's a lot going on. So yeah, there's a lot to say, but I don't want to run out of time. As you know, I can nerd for fucking ever about anything. So I'll take a quick break, and then we'll have a very sharp topic shift after this. We'll do a quick break. So today, since Lil is with us, let's learn about what we can learn from people named Kip.
Meet Kip, named after a biblical scholar. Holds 0 degrees, yet remains deeply authoritative. At Kip Academy, she teaches advanced disciplines like ethical trait distribution, comparative couch theology, and vigorous face licking. Questioning authority is encouraged. Not all treats are created equal. Each snack undergoes rigorous evaluation using the sniff, lick, and stare methodology. Some are rejected, some are accepted, some are declared non-canonical. Ask Kip about theology, ask Kip about life, ask Kip if you should go outside. She will not answer, but she will judge you. Kip, named for a scholar, correct about vibes.
She may judge you.
I love that. That's so good.
I know. And a reminder that that video is done by Jess from How to Rule an Asteroid. Jess releases somewhat randomly, but amazing videos, a whole bunch of different ones. My favorite series is called Extinct Explained, where she takes an extinct thing and does like a mini documentary, like 5 to 10 minutes often. I'm sure there's exceptions, but you get like all the cool details. Like one that she blames me for because I specifically requested the thing was a plant that the Romans drove to extinction because they wanted it for medical uses and penis pills and all sorts of fun things. And they're just delightful. So make sure you subscribe at How to Rule an Asteroid, as well as Lil's channel, this channel, all the good channels. In fact, I have a resource for you for all the good channels. If you go to the website, betterthanember.com, there's a bunch of useful things you can find. You can find all my links, for example. You can find the Space Pride flag and where to buy it, for example. You can find ways to support what I'm doing, for example, Patreon, Cash App, Venmo, and more, as well as the YouTube buttons. But if you go to the Creator tab over here on the right, it will bring you a list. And on the right here, we have all the cast members of Java and Jugs and Learn Together Live. There's me, of course, but there's also the Secular Women's channel where Java and Jugs lives. And there's going to be soon, asterisk, more programming than just the Monday show. I've put together the infrastructure for a call-in show that we can do as soon as we get our ducks in a row. But I digress. The point is, you can find Lil's channel right there. You can find Jess's channel right there. You can find all of our channels on this list. So that's a helpful thing. I'm also slowly building a creator how-to resource. Right now, I only have allow redirects, which is an important thing to do. If you don't have redirects turned on, you need to do that. But this left side, all the channels that I wish I'd known about sooner. So, maybe subscribe to all of them.
Now, if you were watching Java and Jugs before this, now you understand why I reacted the way I did when they said puppies.
Puppies! Well, everybody loves
that, but as a short or something, it was so good.
I know, we've got like the most reaction we've got this whole episode is puppies!
Puppies! Everybody loves the puppies. My three are out all in a row right here. I've got Pixie, Daisy, and Kip all lined up.
Puppy cam. Okay, hold on. I gotta bigify. There we go.
Daisy, and get.
From this side, they just look like loaves of different kinds of bread.
Yeah. Of course you are.
Oh, goodness.
Everybody loves you.
Oh, goodness. Alrighty. We were doing a thing, weren't we? Okay, let me see here. Right, back to my notes. So we've discussed breastfeeding, anatomy, developmental changes over the course of life, a little bit about function. So I suppose the next thing on the way to discussing health and all the various stuff would be to learn about where the hell is it? Right. Breast health. So let's go over here and learn from the Mayo Clinic what they have to say about healthy boobies.
I don't think there's a magic frequency that a woman should do a breast exam. I would suggest it being done at least every 3 months. The main thing with the breast exam is really being familiar with your breast tissue so you can detect when there's been a change. So the breast is...
So we're just warp speeding through these things. So breast self-exam. This is like, you don't have to do it in the shower. A lot of people do because they're there. But like, check. Like, feel around for lumps and shit, because you won't always, there's so many kinds of breast cancer. It's fucking wild. You won't always detect breast cancer that way, but sometimes you will. And if you can detect it early, it can save your life. So it's worth doing just in case. I know it's fucking wild to be like, oh, I better make sure I'm not dying today, but if you can find it faster and you can get it taken care of faster, like, not only can you save your life, you have a higher chance of saving your breast, which you might want.
Ladies,
I mean, you
take
might
care
not
of your
care,
girls.
but you might. Yeah. So think of it that way. But yeah, self-check.
Is made up of the glandular tissue that makes milk, fat, and fibrous tissue that helps support the breast. When we talk about breast density,
It's basically what we talked about before. It's not just fat. It's like a lot of people say, oh, it's just fatty tissue. It's not just fat. When you want to get to the level of health, it's not just fat. It's a big part of it is fat. But like, when we're talking about density, you have to remember there's other kinds of tissue, and what makes it feel dense, as in weight over volume, or how, I can't think of a better way to put it other than when you squeeze it. Like, does it feel like there's not much resistance in there? Like, is it more like a plushie, or is it more like a sports ball, or somewhere in between? You know, memory foam, high density versus low density memory foam. You know, how much resilience is there to the squish? Let's call that the technical term.
The squish.
What is your squish factor? Oh, I'm gonna change modern medicine.
I suggest that become the official medical term. The squish factor.
we are evaluating that ratio of glandular breast tissue to fatty tissue. So the higher the dilution of fatty tissue is to the glandular tissue, the less dense the breast is. And we have a rating system for breast density. We either use the alphabet of A, B, C.
Oh, they already have a squish rating. That's neat.
C, D, A being the least dense and D being the most dense. So in density A, there's more fatty tissue diluting the breast tissue. In D, there's less of that fatty tissue. When we do a mammogram, we're evaluating.
It's not really a matter of diluting per se. It's more of a development thing. Now, I realize she's an expert. She works with the Mayo Clinic. I'm not a fan of their squish rating system because we already have a letter system applied to breasts, which I don't think is the best system either. But cup size is A, B, C, D, and so forth. So maybe calling another rating by the same letter system isn't the most clear way to communicate information, you know?
Yeah.
In that density. We use mammogram to help detect breast cancer. One of the ways that we detect breast cancer is cancers tend to be very dense. As women have a background of normal, very dense breast tissue, it can become more challenging to detect a breast cancer with high density.
That's true. But one of the reasons that mammograms, you can develop breast cancer at any age. I mean, there's children who develop breast cancer. Praise Jesus, I suppose. But the longer, like, first of all, developing proper breasts increases your chances of breast cancer. The introduction of certain hormones increases your chances of breast cancer. It's a statistical chance, but it is still a chance. But the reason mammograms are the way they are is looking top down or bottom up or whatever the fuck, is so that you don't have all that other high density bone and shit in the way. You can see dense areas, but it is easier to spot as you approach perimenopause because you lose some of that density. So you get the contrast for the density in the imaging, but that's not the only way to do that. It's a helpful thing, but it's like small cell, for example. Small cell is one of the worst because it's small cells. You won't see it as like a lump. You'll see it as a streak as it spreads from cell to cell. It's one of the reasons it's so bad is that while your typical cancer you may be thinking of tends to form as like an extra organ almost, it's a cohesive group of cells wrapped in a membrane. It's a death sausage growing inside you. It isn't even necessarily going to kill you. Like a tumor is just there. It's only when it starts to interfere with your vital functions that it might actually kill you. Other than that, it's almost just parasitic. It's drawing off your energy and metabolism and not contributing. But it's not actively harmful. It's only when it starts to interfere with function that it becomes a problem, cutting off blood flow and things. But small cell is automatically metastatic because it doesn't form a tumor. It is just deadly murder cells spreading through your tissue. Like the bad cells are reproducing really fast and they spread like between layers and shit. And if they get into other organs, they will do the same thing there and they will kill you. And so detecting them fast is really important, but you can't find them the normal way because they don't form lumps. We need better systems. We really, really do. Yeah. But for the time being, do your checks. Any which way you can find abnormalities, it really, really can save your life.
Mammograms suck. They are not fun, but you want to catch it early if you can. Do it. Go get it done.
Do the thing.
I think women are concerned whether it may cause them discomfort or pain, and they're scared about the potential answer to a mammogram. But women...
That's a good point. Like, a lot of people are worried about the discomfort, sometimes even the pain, depending on where your pain threshold is. But a lot of people worry about it's almost Schrodinger's cancer. It's like, as long as I don't know, it isn't real. That's, we all know that's magical thinking.
I can also think of another reason why women won't go get it. Because they fucking cost money. And if you don't have insurance, good luck getting one.
Yeah. Yay, healthcare system things.
Yeah.
I think the American system is like out to murder us. Well, us poor people anyway.
Yeah, my doctor has been gay on me about getting one since I just turned 41. And I'm like, unless you're going to give it to me for free, like, no, not right now. I can't afford it.
Yeah. Speaking of not being able to afford medical care, this is a terrible transition, but here we are. Let's head back to the website real quick here. If you head over to the help section, you'll find a bunch of fundraisers for people who are dealing with various issues. Here at the bottom, because it's the newest added, is Helen's. Go to Helen's GoFundMe and help Helen because she is having medical issues. She's in the live chat right now, but she's on a fuck ton of pain meds because she needs a surgery. And insurance is being a total dick. TLDR, she may need to come up with 5 figures with no notice. And even if insurance does come through, she's out of work. Her husband's out of work. Things are bad. So please go help. So you can find her GoFundMe right on the website, betterthanumber.com, down at the bottom here. And also spread the word about that too. Like, I appreciate everybody who does help from here, but other people need to know about it, right? So, and also the other fundraisers as well. Like, there's a bunch of people who need help for various things. I'm mentioning Helen because that's what's happening right now. It's right now, you know? But do remember there's lots of other people in trouble too. So, okay, mammograms. This is what our doctor friend was talking about with the density scale, the ABCD. And A is like, it's mostly just, tissue, B is scattered dense tissue. So this isn't like squishability factor at all. It's how much dense tissue is there. And C is a large volume of dense tissue. This is like very active milk production kind of stuff. There's, liquids are dense. Milk is mostly water, and water is kind of dense. And then D is extremely dense. This might be, there may be a problem with any of these, depending on certain things. But D is oh shit, we need to look more closely. That's not how that's supposed to go. So yeah. If your breasts are dense, it can also be difficult to see cancer in your mammogram picture. This is because cancer cells and dense breast tissue both show up white on a mammogram, which is why doing a mammogram alone, if you show up with a lot of dense tissue, your physician may say we need to do another test because we can't see. But if they can see, if you have type A or B, for example, and they can see, and they see there's no cancer there, then that's a negative result, and that's good.
Yeah. I have a friend of mine that, like, her doctor doesn't even really bother with mammograms because she's like, even if you had something there, I can't see it. So they're like, she has to go in and get like blow work and stuff done every couple years.
Yeah, just to check. It is primarily a screening tool. Like, it won't catch all the positives, but if you can catch some positives early, so much the better. Every person you can treat early is potentially a life saved.
That's one thing that always kind of baffles me on why there was so much pushback against preventative medicine. That's going to end up saving everybody a lot of money in the long run. It's going to end up saving the insurance companies a lot of money. It's going to end up saving, like, people a lot of money too. Like, if you can catch it early, it's a lot easier to fix. The only people who don't benefit from that is like pharmaceutical companies.
I don't know if that's true either. I think it's just stupid Republican math. Like, they don't know. It's okay. It's not even Republican math. It's
capitalist.
If I save $1,000 today, that's the same as making $1,000. Even if it costs me $10,000 next quarter, that's still better because today is right now. So I made $1,000 now. And then I'll just leave the company, and it'll be the next CEO's problem when that $10,000 that it costs them next quarter comes around.
So capitalist sort of math.
Yeah, it's capitalist thinking is what it is. Is right now matters more than future consequences. Holy crap! But that's kind of where we're at.
women should do a mammogram because if we can catch a cancer very early, the more treatable it is and the more curable. And also maybe less invasive treatment if we can catch a cancer at an early stage. Also, we should be able to perform a mammogram without causing pain.
In theory, again, everything is going to be different for every woman at different stages in life. Like back to breastfeeding, there's the same person with the same baby. You can breastfeed and feel something that's sort of like pinching, and then other times you feel nothing. Like, one of the infuriating things about womanhood is that there's no consistency to so much of what you feel and how you feel it. Like your body did one thing yesterday, it's doing something entirely different today. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of the evil conservatives doing bad math and trying to fuck us all over, let's take us a little break. Let's
you about to engage in blasphemy?
And see what happens if we let these fuckers have all the power, kind of like they do right now.
I have a problem with this stuff being normalized across the spectrum, and specifically, like, why push this on kids? Why introduce this to kids?
I am a depraved wretch. I am a great sinner. I'm a worm, completely undeserving of any love or any grace. I'm nothing. I'm nothing.
You're incapable of being a good person. You're an evil person. You're a terrible person. At the core fabric of who you are. That's why we need laws. We need laws because we're bad people. All of us are bad people.
You can't spell Pride Month without demon. PRIDEMONTH.
If we don't know who the women are, because there are just people, then we won't be able to pull the women up to equality with men.
We have to try to limit the harm. And that means reducing or keeping down the number of people who transition. And that's for two reasons. One of them is that every one of those people is a person who's been damaged. But the second one is every one of those people is basically, a huge problem to a sane world.
Transgenderism must be eradicated.
The LGBT, transgender, grooming our children's minds is a national security threat. We need to hold people for treason, start having some public hearings, and start executing people.
I will use whatever gives me victory. I don't care about the truth, and I don't care about the law. I care about one thing, the control.
But then they rigged the election, and now we won, so I'm going to be your president. Then what happened is they rigged the election, and I became president, so that was a good thing.
I agreed with many, many things you said during, in fact, probably more than most other candidates when you were running for president, but I still would not have voted for you because you're an Indian.
I just want to say I feel good about the Republican Party. I feel good about where we're going as a nation. We're killing all the right people and we're cutting your taxes.
It was actually a tremendous blessing to these children for them to be killed and go to heaven and be with God.
We've been hoodwinked. We've been taken in by an ideology crafted by creeps and then pushed on children.
Stop letting people pressure you into thinking.
If they die, they die.
I want to be ignorant, honestly.
Being a Christian doesn't exclude us from experiencing spiritual dryness.
We're bad people. All of us are bad people.
Hooray! And things. I don't know. There's parts of that are funny, and there are parts of that are just like, oh no.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let's make Babylon great again, or some. I don't fucking know. I just
make Babylon great again.
People did not like that. Actually, people did. Some people liked. So Dr. Kip was on last week, and I made one clip of him talking about how dogs used evolution to become super cute, and I posted that as a short. And we got the mansplainers. Actually, that's not how evolution works. Like, are you, first of all, do you imagine that we don't know how evolution works and we need you to tell us? But also, do you not get what's going on here?
Yeah.
Like,
Wait, that's where I've gotten all the shitty comments I've gotten have all been on shorts. Never on my actual videos, but shorts.
I don't know. All right.
I don't get the algorithm with shorts, like, at all. Like, I can at least
I
see
don't
the
get the
pattern.
algorithm at all. At all. Like, okay, so little analytics breakdown. Last week, Dr. Kip being on was the best show in a while. We got hundreds of views. The next day, when it was just me, we got even more hundreds of views. And then today, you know, it's as grateful as I am for all of you being here, talking analytics in real time, we are not yet at 100 views. We're still under the minimum for a video to stay visible. And it's about fucking boobies. Like, I have no idea what the algorithm wants or how it works. Obviously.
I mean, you would think if it said boobies, it would be promoting it like crazy. I don't know. I don't get it.
I don't know. Maybe it is because we don't get to see how much the system promotes a given video. We only get to see the results, like how many people clicked through and how many people stuck around for how long and this sort of thing.
Yeah.
So we don't really know if the algorithm is not showing it to anyone, including subscribers and people with their notifications turned on, then people won't see it. They won't know it's here to watch. Unless they know to tune in every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, because we're always doing a show at 11 a.m. Eastern. But I don't know.
It's bizarre. Like, I've been trying to figure it out for years with my boss to try and figure out what works and what doesn't, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and it's crazy. Like, I can't keep up with it anymore.
It's who knows? I mean, whatever. We could discuss that till the cows come home. The point is, now we all know for science that doing a show specifically about boobies will not summon the powers of the algorithm or the Chud Squad or whatever. I don't know. Whatever it is, it doesn't actually work. So we need to try something else. I blame Nick Fuentes. It's Nick Fuentes saying, guys, liking girls is gay. If you want to be a true alpha male, you should get with other guys. Fucking wild.
Oh my God.
So seeking a second opinion at Mayo Clinic Health System would give you a team approach from the beginning. For all of our breast cancer patients, we do have a team approach that meets regularly. We evaluate your pathology slides and your radiologic images. This gives you multiple opinions without having to make multiple visits. These opinions are valuable because it allows for everybody to be on board with the recommended treatment, following the state-of-the-art guidelines, and give you access to up-to-date additional imaging if needed.
I appreciate the effort. Apparently that was the end of the video because I tried to click pause and it clicked through onto their page. But like, it's okay if your person is a specialist in various medicines and cares and so forth and isn't necessarily a presenter, a science communicator type person. Like, if you're gonna produce media content, you should get a person whose specialty is doing that, or who at least can read off the script. I don't want to shade somebody for doing what their expertise is, but like, presenting in this fashion, definitely not her expertise, and it kind of shows, and it diminishes the effectiveness of the video in communicating its message. But whatever. Leo asks, why is a second opinion often helpful following a breakdance competition? What's the solution of the I think I see what you mean, how the sentence seemed to break off at a weird place. And so it's like, but why a second opinion, though? Because the way it was presented, it's confusing what the point is supposed to be. And that's another reason why presentation capability is sort of important. So, Mayo Clinic, if you're watching, hit me up. Because I actually am good at reading things. I'm occasionally, I can't pronounce words. I cannot pronounce words, but I can read things in real time. So, you know, and honestly, I could use the work. I've been, oh, fuck's sake. What was it? July, August, September, October, November, December, January, and now we're into February. So we're going on 8 months since I've had a paycheck. So yeah, Mayo Clinic, pay me to help make your medical advertising better. That's a thing I can do from here in the void. Holy shit. All right. Anyhow, yes. Take care of your boobs, check for cancers, but also check for other things because they do keep changing over the course of your life. And sometimes things go wrong that are not cancer. Cancer is important to keep an eye on, but it's not the only thing. So yeah, check yourself often and things. Andrew says, I like the medical info videos that are cartoons that anthropomorphize body processes. Oh my goodness, yes. Like the here's the mammary gland. It's happy to produce milk, but it has to send it to Mr. Duct. Like the mailman, Mr. Duct carries your parcel of milk to its intended destination. Oh, fucking
Oh my god, now I can see just like a cartoon with like the milk duct, like a little mailman going around.
But with only one destination.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like factory workers shoveling things into a chute because that's what the duct is. It's basically a chute. It's one way. It's oh my goodness. Oh yeah, Helen is about to do a hysterectomy, which pluses and minuses. It's a major surgery, but it will definitely stop many of your problems. So you will feel better after recovery anyway. But yeah, it can be a little scary. Did they tell you if it was going to be like sometimes they can be done laparoscopically and often that's a quicker recovery and lower amount of damage, but unfortunately that's not always the case. Sometimes they have to do like a conventional human-sized surgery and that can get messy. Ask me how I know. All right, what other thingies have we got going on here? Right, I wanted to talk a little bit about, in case you do have to have your memories removed for various reasons, not necessarily hysterectomy. Hysterectomy. Mastectomy. Jesus Christ. My brain got stuck on Helen for a minute. And, you know, have you met Helen? It happens.
It's a good place to be stuck. Have your mind stuck on Helen.
Sure. All right. So I want to, where the hell did I put it? I don't know if I have a thing for it. We may have to find it ourselves.
Although one of the coolest things that I've seen someone do when they get a mastectomy is I saw this one lady where she only had one done. Then she went to a tattoo artist and got like a big like floral motif all the way across her chest. It was really gorgeous. I've seen a few of those and they're just fantastic.
Hell yeah. Yeah, sometimes people do. And you know, that's great to be like, yes, I survived. Fuck you. You know?
Yeah, like I pretty much decided that if that ever happened to me, that's the way I'm going. I'm like, yeah, let's just go get a big tat.
I thought about it. I think I might be inclined to go with a prosthetic. Now, I don't know if I'd have like an implanted prosthetic or just like, I don't know, something. Probably because I'm poor, I'd end up with an external prosthetic that I would just put into my bras and just keep wearing the bras I already have. But you also can have special bras made where the prosthetic is like built in. And it's there's so many options. There's many options. But whether you want it for prosthetic reasons or just to enhance what you already have, let's talk a little bit about implants and whether there's health risks about those. Like I said, I haven't had a chance to actually properly prepare like I normally do. So we're just gonna take this one blind and hope for the best. What could possibly go wrong?
I'm Dr. Jamila Öztürk. I am one of the plastic surgeons at the Department of Head and Neck and Plastic and Reconstructive Surgery at Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center. Breast implant illness is a patient-reported set of symptoms which are thought to be relevant to placement of an implant in a patient. The patients who report to have the breast implant illness usually report a variety of symptoms such as fatigue, headaches, inflammation in their joints or.
Now, what she's referring to here is people who get implants for traditional reasons, which is to say, you have normal functional breasts, but to give increased size for whatever reason, confidence being one of them, alleviating dysphoria being one of them. There are valid reasons to get implants. It goes under the breast tissue, but over the muscle and things. And this is often done for, other replacement reasons, is you put the implant over the muscle. I have heard of implants under the muscle. They seldom produce good results because then it just looks like you have giant pecs, There's a difference between muscle and a breast, but whatever. Sometimes the older silicone goo packs leak. Now, a silicone leak or silicon leak is not the same as like a lot of people picture milk pouches from school when they started phasing out the milk cartons and gave us the plastic pouches because the plastic was somehow better for the earth. Whatever. People think of that. No, it's not. It doesn't just pour out like milk, even though it's in a breast. It isn't actually milk. It's more of a very thick gel, sort of like caulking material, really. So it doesn't really leak the same way, but it can leak into your system, and your body, being your body, will try to absorb everything, especially stuff inside it. And you end up with too much of this element in your system, and it can build up in places. Your body isn't super good at processing it because this isn't a thing you're supposed to ingest, If you, as a child, you might have eaten sand or dirt, but that just goes right through because your body doesn't digest that,
Skin. And even though it is not a confirmed or like an established medical diagnosis, I've encountered patients who have had relief after removal of their implants. So there are patients who do request their implants to be removed, and we are able to do a total capsulectomy for them, which is removal of the implant together with the scar tissue around it. Breast implant illness.
Now, that is super important. Reconstructive surgery is technically cosmetic in nature because it's trying to put things back together for appearances as much as for function. There are techniques to remove scars. You can do certain surgeries in such a way that they don't leave scars in the first place. You can do other surgeries on top of old scars for the purpose of removing the scars that are there. Because we live in such a capitalist hellscape, we have this whole thing about like, oh, you survived, you're stuck with your scar, fuck you. That isn't actually necessary. That's it's like saying I pooped in the toilet, don't expect me to flush it too. You can fucking flush and then wash your hands besides. You
Yeah.
don't have to leave people fucking disfigured.
Yeah.
Is not the same as breast lymphoma. Breast lymphoma is an actual oncologic process where the body creates a reactive lymphoid malignancy against the breast implant, which can be diagnosed with pathology, which is like an actual cancer diagnosis.
Yes and no. You can lymphoma, angry lymph nodes. It's an immune response. The body will try to remove what it perceives as a pathogen. If it cannot, it will continue to get angrier and angrier and angrier and start to misbehave. That's not the same as a traditional cancer, which is when tissues are not performing their normal function and instead are just reproducing out of control. This sort of thing, it's almost like an allergy that is accelerated to the point that it threatens your life. You know, allergies, allergen responses are supposed to keep you alive, but if they go too far, they can kill you, you know?
Yeah, I was about to say, it sounds a lot more like an allergy than like a cancer. So,
Yar. Let's see. Aunt Jer asks, what kind of ectomy did she say an implant removal is? I didn't catch that.
I'm Dr. Jimileos.
What have I done? What happened? Did I reset the damn thing? Well, I guess we can just go back and find out. I was going to Google it, but I guess we could just find out.
The patients who report to have the breast implant illness usually report a variety of symptoms such as fatigue, headaches, established medical diagnosis. I've encountered patients who have had relief after removal of their implants. So there are patients who do request their implants to be removed, and we are able to do a total capsulectomy for them, which is removal of
Ipsilectomy?
something like that.
I do have to Google it. What is the procedure for removal of breast implants? Explant surgery, it says. Explantation, capsulectomy.
Yeah, that sounds like what she said.
That makes sense too. Although a capsulectomy is technically the removal of the scar tissue that formed around the implant, but okay.
I mean, it makes sense that if you're doing that, you're taking out the implant as well.
So that's fascinating. But yeah, it's good to know that there's actually a term for that.
the implant together with the scar tissue around it. Breast implant illness is not the same as breast lymphoma. Breast lymphoma is an actual oncologic process where the body creates a reactive lymphoid malignancy against the breast implant, which can be diagnosed with pathology, which is like an actual cancer diagnosis. Breast implant associated lymphoma is a very rare occurrence, and there are many patients in the United States undergoing cosmetic breast implant placement, and those patients have the same risks of developing the breast implant lymphoma as the same as a breast cancer patient. There is no correlation between having a breast implant illness symptoms that may lead to breast lymphoma. I also want
Right. You can react to the implant without developing cancer. You can develop the cancer whether or not you have the implant. You can look up studies for this if you really want, but there's no correlation. There's no statistical significance between having implants or not and developing breast cancer. Not getting them, you may get cancer. Getting them, you may not get cancer. It seems to have no impact, at least within the amount of information we can control for, right? Like every individual life is different. Everybody's going to be exposed to different things, like, you know, smoking or high calories or not enough sleep or a whole bunch of other things, which is why we need statistics, because we can't control for every variable. So we need to dilute the variables across the whole population. That's why we do that. But yeah, statistics do not apply to individuals. but there doesn't seem to be any kind of causal relationship between implant or not. That said, if you get an implant, you could still react negatively. It's an important thing to be aware of, but the odds are very small, which means if you have to have a partial or total mastectomy, you may want to opt for an implant instead of a prosthetic. It's one of the few cases where we can do that if your anatomy is right for it. If you have to like remove the whole thing and there's not enough tissue, then you know, there's different options. You have to talk to your doctor about it. But there's also I thought about doing a little bit about the adhesive forms versus the bra inserts versus the permanent bras, but that really covers most of it right there. The main difference with the adhesive form is it'll stay on even when you take your supportive garments off because it's adhered to you. So it can be, I mean, it'll obviously be a prosthetic, just like an artificial leg is clearly strapped onto you. People will see it's an artificial leg, but it looks, it's all about what your goals are as far as function and appearance and, you know, not making what it is about you the main focus of people's attention. A lot of people try to avoid notice in that way, but sometimes we want to bring notice, like, you know, punk people, for instance, with bright, big rainbow hair. Oh, I want to put on my rainbow wig now. We're near the end of the show though, so which is why I'm like super summarizing. There's also supportive garments. There's a lot of supportive garments, but good news, that's what tomorrow's show is about. We're talking about bras, where they come from, why we don't burn them all, and so forth. But for today, some basics. There's a whole bunch of different kinds of bras. There's general bras, there's push-up bras, there's maternity bras for breastfeeding, there's sports bras to help more with physical activity, there's binders, which aren't just for trans men. There's other reasons you may want to wear a binder. We're going to get into the ins and outs of our supportive undergarments tomorrow. So I hope y'all join us for that. And thank you all so much for joining today. I appreciate y'all being here, especially on a day when the algorithm really does not love us. And I have no idea why, but I'm so glad
Everybody
you're
loves
here.
boobies. Everybody loves boobies.
You would think so, but now we have scientific data to the contrary. Literally hundreds of times more people are interested in old piles of rocks than in boobies. Alas.
I don't know.
And of course, garlic bread. Whether you're interested in boobies or not, garlic bread is amazing, and you can find that too on the website betterthanumber.com in the store tab. You can.
I love that
now.
shirt.
We just
I get asked about it.
2 streams back to back, Lil. It's time for some damn food. Double streams today.
The garlic shirt, I get asked about it every single time I wear it. So it's a good conversation piece too.
I know. I need to get one myself, but you know, one thing at a time, trying to survive. AJ's like, food, absolutely, for realsies, for real. Okay, so that's gonna do it for this time, folks. As always, thank you all so much for joining. Thank you for subscribing and supporting however you can, whether it's sharing or contributing or both, whatever. I appreciate all of it. And as always, remember, you don't have to pretend boobies are dirty and sinful and need to be hidden away, because you are better than religion. Toodles.
Bye.
Thanks to all our patrons and top-level members for January. Miranda, Karen Butcher, Jessica the Transmetal Alchemist, Robin Webster, Maya Adkisson, Jimmy Tux, Ian Chen, Lilith, Ember Lynn, The Barely Bearable Atheist, Eric Wander, Jason Jacoby, Lil of All Trades, Deviant Outcast, Secular Feelinist, Kelly King, the Detroit Atheist Queen, Geo Sam, Thriver Scapegoat, and Godless Engineer. And you can add your name here next month by signing up at patreon.com/betterthanumber, or by joining memberships here on YouTube at the Cinder level, which also includes all the custom emojis, tons of member-exclusive content, member-only live streams, and a bunch of other stuff. I deeply appreciate all the supporters who keep this channel going. Thank you all so much. Because of you, we are building a wonderful community that I'm very proud of.
Just like a spark that's breaking out, can't make a stop.